Hey guys, Happy New Year and welcome back to another What's Up video. I have been very busy making new videos for you guys during my Christmas break, and there'll be a lot more videos coming up soon. Um, and so remember to follow them. Today we'll be talking about a familiar yet really distant topic. It's cancer. I'm sure you've heard of cancer, right? More than 10 million people died from cancer in 2021 alone. It is a huge issue, right? Um but a lot of people don't really understand it that well, and that's what I'm here to do, right? That is why today I will try to answer all your questions about this deadly disease and explain to you what is cancer, why is there cancer, what are the different types of cancer, what are the symptoms of cancer, and the current treatments for cancer. Also, I just noticed that the profile picture of this channel was from 3 years ago when I just first started uploading videos, right? How much I've grown and how quickly has time passed, right? But back to cancer. Um, yeah, let's start with the basic question. What even is cancer, right? Well, to put it simply in my words, cancer is a disease in which some of the body cells grow uncontrollably and spread to other parts of the body, right? And so, if you don't know what cells are, be sure to be subscribed to my channel because soon I'll be uploading a video explaining all about cells, so be sure to check it out. Now, you might and you should be wondering one thing, right? As I mentioned just now in my definition of cancer, where the body cells grow uncontrollably and spread to other parts of the body, you might be wondering, why is the spreading of cells to another part of the body a bad thing? Well, the reason is a mutation problems. And actually, mutation isn't necessarily a bad thing either. So let me just explain it. It's quite challenging to understand, right? Well, um, sometimes during cell division or during the reproduction of your body cells, some of your genes may accidentally be changed when being copied, right? This is called cell mutation. So the cell starts doing things that it doesn't usually do, right? Now, the body has to consider when it realizes that there's a cell mutation, it has to consider whether the mutation is a small or a big mutation, right? Because if it is a small unimportant mutation, then the body doesn't have to do anything because it won't cause any harm to the body. The body can just ignore it and nothing will happen, right? Let the cell continue to grow because the if the mutation is really small, it won't harm your body, right? However, if it is a large, significant, harmful, bad mutation, well, then the body has to, I mean, not that's like, if a significant mutation doesn't necessarily have to be bad, actually. Like when there's a big mutation that could change your whole body, well, your body has to decide then that if this is a good mutation or a bad mutation, right? Because sometimes mutations are actually good, right? They're beneficial. Um they help evolution, right? How do apes become humans? It's through mutation, right? Through adapting to the environment, right? And that's why if the body decides that it is a good mutation, then it will enforce the mutation. It will help the mutation spread, right? And it won't cause cancer, right? However, if the mutation is bad, if the mutation is harmful, then there's a chance that it will cause cancer, right? Because it will cause harm to the body. And then the body will have to kill the mutated cell, right? And by the body, I mean the part of the brain that controls apoptosis. Apoptosis is the Greek word for self-destruction of mutated cells. So basically, it's like the body gives a signal and the cell just kills itself, right? The mutated cell just kills itself, right? And that's why cancer isn't that common, right? Because and like maybe every day there will be a cell mutation happening, right? And even though like most of them are small, some of them might be big, right? And might be harmful. That there is a case that this will happen, right? But not everyone gets cancer because the body is programmed to do apoptosis, right? Which is to kill all the affected cells, kill all the mutated cells, right? And sometimes and usually the body actually succeeds in destroying and killing the cell, and so there will be no cancer, right? But there are a few rare cases where the body does not succeed in killing the cell or doesn't even detect the mutated cell at all, right? And when it's not destroyed, the cell may disperse and spread around the body, and this cell might lead to cancer, right? So when a cancerous cell spreads around the body and infects more and more cells, then the risk of cancer becomes higher and higher, right? Now, let's take a look at the different types of cancer, right? There are a lot of types of cancer on the in the existing right here. Listed here are some of the most common types of cancer, and according to the World Health oh my god organization, the five most common types of cancers are breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer. Where is that? Yeah, colorectal or colon cancer, and yeah, no, actually, colon cancer and rectum cancer are two different things, but in here it's classified as the same thing. But yeah, these are the most common types of cancer that causes the most deaths, right? And the main difference between all of these types of cancers are basically the area that the mutation occurs, right? It might occur in the lung, it might occur in the bladder or kidney, yeah. Um, and remember, these are only the most common types of cancer, right? There are many other types too that aren't listed here, right? Um, and yeah, how about let's go to some current news related to cancer, right? Because everyone must know about the famous football or soccer goat Pelé, who just passed away on the 29th of December 2022, right? We are all mourning him, right? But did you know that it was due to colon cancer? Bet you didn't, right? Um, Colon cancer is basically cancer in the colon or the rectum, right? Which is basically around this area and this area. It's like your main intestine, right? Um, or near the intestines, right? Um, and actually, other than Pele, some other famous cancer victims was for example David Bowie, who was an English singer and actor who passed away from lung cancer, or John McCain, a U.S. senator who ran for presidency but lost to Barack Obama. He died from brain cancer. However, not everyone dies from cancer, right? There are some really inspiring stories of recovery and some kind of, you could say, miracles, right? For example, American actress Sharon Doherty, she survived stage 4 breast cancer, which but she survived it, right? Which is a huge miracle, right? Even though the problem still keeps troubling her, like she needs to visit the doctor constantly to make sure that the cells don't come back. But it's a huge miracle already, right? And another example is the late TV host Larry King. He survived stage 4 lung cancer, a huge miracle, right? However, he passed away in 2021, not related to cancer, but to sepsis, which is basically your body killing yourself due to extreme reactions towards inflammation, right? But yeah, back to cancer. Um, Cancer is really, really hard to detect. It's incredibly hard to detect. And that is the reason why so many people die to it, right? Because sometimes it is too late to prevent the spread of these bad cells, right? But there are still some really vague symptoms of cancer, right? That might hint that you have cancer. And you can find some of the common symptoms listed on the board. I'm not going to read all of them out there. There's way too much. But like some include like fatigue or sudden bleeding or persistent pain, and it must be persistent, right? And like some changes in your body systems. It is really important that if you have any of the above listed cancer symptoms, that you should seek immediate medical attention to figure out if you have cancer, right? Even though the chance of having cancer isn't that high, but it is really important to prevent it from happening, right? Because once the situation deteriorates and like the mutated cells are spread across your body, it's really hard to cure them, right? It's really hard to fight back, right? And talking about cures, now you might be wondering if there's a treatment for this horrible disease. Well, to be honest, cancer is really hard to treat, right? There's no treatment that is proved to be really successful, right? There's no treatment with a high percent success rate when it comes to cancer, right? But there are still some treatments that can be considered in an emergency, right? Well, these are seven commonly used and different and very complex treatments that aren't guaranteed to succeed, but are the most popular ones right now that we have, right? Um, uh, these include surgery, right? Surgery is actually one of the best choices, right? But it's also one of the most expensive, right? And surgery is tends to be the last choice, or the one when it is very urgent, right? When there's no turning back, right? Um, the main purpose of surgery is actually to try to minimize cancer as much as possible by killing the cancer cells, right? For example, if you have a cancer cell in your kidney, you might want to do a surgery to take out the cancer cell or cut out the part with cancer cells in order to prevent it from spreading to other places and worsening the problem, right? Surgery is usually used when you're already at a really high stage of cancer, right? Meaning that you're really near death, you're at stage 4 cancer and you need treatment really quickly, right? And surgery is really, really expensive, right? Some downsides is that it's really expensive and you have to wait for a really long time if you're in a public hospital, right? Because there are a lot of these cases, right? But if you don't want to do surgery, right? Because if it's not that urgent, if it's still in like stage 2 or 3 cancer, you might want to choose one of the therapies, right? For example, there's chemotherapy, immunotherapy, hormone therapy, radiation therapy, targeted therapy, and all of these and there all of these like different kinds of therapies that each have their different purposes, right? For example, chemotherapy, which is really common, is a cancer treatment that is used to kill cancer cells with different chemicals. So they use chemicals instead of cutting away the whole part, right? And immunotherapy is a type of biological therapy that helps the immune system cope with the cancer cells and apoptosis, right? It helps the immune system deal with the cancer cells, right? And actually, every day right now, scientists are still trying to develop more and more useful and better ways to fight cancer, right? Scientists are doing their best to find a way to stop cancer. And if there is a breakthrough, it's gonna help a lot, right? It's gonna lead to a lot less deaths, right? A lot less spending, a lot less money poured into saving people from cancer, right? And actually, recently there has been a new drug tested for colorectal cancer, and it has left doctors stunned, right? And it is a massive breakthrough, right? Because it returned 100% successful rates in clinical trials, right? That means all patients with cancer after taking this drug just like did like the cancer was cured after this, right? The drug is called dostarlimab, a drug with laboratory produced molecules that act as substitute antibodies in the human body, and it has left researchers astonished after all 18 participants were considered in remission 1 year after the drug trial, right? Doctors conducted physical exams, endoscopies, PET scans, MRI scans, and they were unable to find any trace of cancer in their bodies after taking this drug, right? And so Dr. Luis A. Diaz Jr. of New York's Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center said that this was the first time that has happened in the whole history of cancer, right? And that is a massive breakthrough, right? It might lead to the first drug that has actually a high success rate in curing cancer, right? And so we should never give up, right? We should keep trying to find cure, right? In conclusion, cancer is a cell mutation disease, and cell mutation is a process where the cells accidentally change during cell division, right? There are a lot of types of cancer, and each one has different symptoms, right? And there's no specific treatment for cancer, but surgery, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, etc. They're all different types of treatments that can help with cope with cancer, but doesn't promise a high success rate, right? However, as I mentioned, people are still trying their best to figure out a way to treat cancer, right? And that is really important, right? Because one day I'm confident we'll find a way to treat cancer and prevent so much deaths occurring worldwide yearly, right? And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot more about cancer. And if you liked it, be sure to subscribe, to like this video, and to watch my other videos, right? Thank you for watching, and Zachary from What's Up signing off.